that's why we have to come out here and show people what's going on, because these people are bots. They're in a cult. How you doing? How you doing, brother? They don't know what's going on. Can you speak? We're trying to see if any of these folks can speak out here. I don't talk to racists. There you go. See, they cannot even talk. It's a cult bot where they get to feel good, call everyone racist heifers. They watch MSNBC. They go along with all this stuff, and they have absolutely no understanding of how brainwashed they are.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
The man, the myth, the conspiracy theorist.
You kind of got, you know, this.
Is that a lobster ring?
No, it's a scorpion. It's a scorpion. You like it?
I do.
Yeah.
I like it more if it was a lobster.
Why? Scorpions are cooler than lobsters, aren't they?
Oh.
Lobsters are just tasty. Scorpions are dangerous.
Lobsters are psychic.
Who has caused an insufferable amount of grief by spreading false information and conspiracy theories on a plethora of real-life events. And ironically enough, he has quite a following, bringing in millions of dollars in revenue every single month, while simultaneously spreading false information on actual real-world events. And for those of you who have not been following the news, Alex Jones recently has been in court all week long. You've probably seen the headlines that he had to pay $1 million to the families who lost their kiddos in a very tragic event. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the legal case that Alex Jones was involved with, seeing live footage, documented and exposed lies on recording, physical evidence. Let me just say this, if you thought that the lawyers of Amber Heard was bad, Alex Jones lawyers top the cake. And this may be one of the most bizarre cases I've ever seen, and you'll see why when I show you clips of the actual trial and some of the things that happened during this case that finished just a few days ago. But before we begin, special thanks to the sponsor of the channel today, Raycon. These are Raycon's everyday earbuds. They look, feel, and sound better than ever. I'm wearing them right now. You can see they fit nice and smug right into my ear. It is an absolute perfect fit. Optimized gel tips, extremely comfortable. They also have noise isolation and awareness mode and 3 customizable sound profiles. They offer 8 hours of playtime, a 32-hour battery life, but most of all, they are a fraction of the price of your normal premium earbuds that you would buy on the market today. They even have over 50,000 5-star reviews. And if you press the very first link in the description box of this video or go to buyraycon.com/Repzion, you're gonna receive 15% off your Raycon purchase. But again, I gotta reemphasize, they're half the price of your normal premium earbuds that you would buy. I just used these earbuds last week on vacation, and I couldn't be more happy with the product. Support the channel, click the link down below. December 14th, 2012, Newtown, Connecticut. Over 10 years ago, I remember seeing this, hearing about it. It was a national outcry. 10 years ago, I remember seeing Alex Jones on the radio, seeing him on the news, even on YouTube. Alex Jones was pushing false information and extremely traumatic narratives about the Sandy Hook event, which took the lives of over 20 kiddos. This occurred at an elementary school. It is documented as one of the worst tragedies in US history in regards to the loss of children. There is physical and factual evidence that this was a real life event, but not according to Alex Jones. You see, that's why Alex Jones is in court, because the parents of their lost children have banded together to sue Alex Jones for the emotional torment and grief and trauma that he pushed on the families of lost loved ones. While the nation was in mourning, Alex Jones was saying things like this.
Official story of Sandy Hook has more holes in it than Swiss cheese.
For years, he's been a megaphone for far-right conspiracy theories.
Sandy Hook is a synthetic, completely fake, with actors, in my view, manufactured.
But now Alex Jones is paying the price for his lies. He claimed one of America's worst school shootings, Sandy Hook, 10 years ago, was a hoax, that the parents of the 20 children were actors. Among them, the mother of 6-year-old Jessie Lewis, who in a Texas courtroom told Jones of the harassment and distress he'd caused.
Jessie was real. I am a real mom. I know you know that. That's the problem. I know you believe me. And yet you're gonna leave this courthouse and you're gonna say it again on your show.
And for much of the trial, Jones remained defiant.
This is a kangaroo court. This is a political action. It's a witch hunt. I'll be back later.
But even after being ordered to pay $4 million in compensation, he was still on the defensive.
I admitted I made a mistake. I admitted that I followed disinformation, but not on purpose. I apologize to the families.
Fast forward 10 years, the trial's happening right now, and just one parent recently came away with over $40 million owed to them as a family for what Alex Jones did to them. Now, granted, the state of Texas does have a money cap, so it probably won't be that full amount, but regardless, that family is getting a very large payout for Alex Jones' defamation of not only the family, but the damage that they did to their loved ones. Now, the reason I said that this trial is one of the most bizarre trials I've ever seen is because I'm gonna drop the hammer with this simple clip that should summarize why this is not a normal occurrence that you see in court. Alex Jones' lawyers sent the opposing attorney, who is fighting on behalf of the families who lost their children, every single text message and email by accident during this trial. When I saw this trending on social media, I didn't believe it.
You know how an iPhone works, right? You've had iPhone text messaging for several years now.
Yeah.
What does it mean if the messages are in blue? Whose messages are those? Whose phone is this taken from?
I don't know whose phone's taken from. I mean, I turned the phone over and said, take the stuff off.
Can I have you look in the very bottom below the very bottom left corner? Is that your phone number?
Yes. So you did get my text messages. And it said you didn't. Nice trick.
Yes, Mr. Jones.
Oh.
Indeed. You didn't give this text message to me. You don't know where this came from. Do you know where I got this?
No.
Mr. Jones, did you know that 12 days ago, your attorneys messed up and sent me an entire digital copy of your entire cell phone with every text message you've sent for the past 2 years, and when informed, did not take any steps to identify it as privileged or protect it in any way. And as of 2 days ago, it fell free and clear into my possession. And that is how I know you lied to me when you said you didn't have text messages about Sandy Hook. Did you know that?
I told you the truth. This is your Perry Mason moment. I gave them my phone, and then...
Mr. Jones, you need to answer the question.
No,
Did you know this happened?
No, I didn't know this happened. But I mean, I told you I gave them the phone over.
But just
And
answer the question.
You said in your deposition, you searched your phone. You said you pulled down the text, did the search function for Sandy Hook. That's what you said, Mr. Jones, correct?
And I had several different phones with this number, but I did, yeah. Well, of course, I mean, that's why you got it.
No, Mr. Jones, that's not what happened.
My lawyer sent it to you, but I'm hiding it. Okay.
Mr. Jones,
Mr. Jones, that?
please just answer questions. There's no question. Mr. Banks.
You see, when court cases like this, with the Amber Heard, Johnny Depp trial, when you have witnesses, when you have people involved who are being subpoenaed, you are not supposed to go outside and spread and talk about the legal case that is ongoing. There are rules set in place specifically for this. So let me ask you, what do you think Alex Jones did? Right? This trial is happening. First few days he was not on the stand. Well, you see, Alex Jones did his show like normal. And rather than keep his mouth shut, he contributed to spreading misinformation about the judge handling the trial by claiming that she was involved in trafficking of, can you guess?
So that's why the judge is rigging the court proceeding to make sure that the script, this is literally a script gets told in a certain way for future audiences.
That man's name is Robert Barnes?
Yes.
Okay. That's InfoWars? Okay.
Yes.
He was hosting your show on the 29th?
Yes.
Well, you were on the show for part of the 29th, right? You were in the courtroom part of it, on your show part of it.
I believe so.
Okay. And Mr. Barnes, he's a frequent anchor on InfoWars?
He's been a frequent guest for about 6 years or so.
He's also represented you in this case as an attorney?
Yes.
Okay. You say, Mr. Jones, that you're taking these court proceedings seriously. You're approaching them in good faith. But the truth of the matter is, you've been broadcasting repeatedly a picture of our judge on fire, haven't you?
Objection compound, Your Honor.
No.
You have to wait till the court rules.
Oh.
Overruled. There was a statement and then a question.
Mr. Jones, I'm going to hand you what I've marked as Plaintiff's Exhibit 129. That's from your show, isn't it?
That's Justice on Fire.
Huh, okay. That's from your show, isn't it?
Yes, I haven't seen this.
And you've been running this video repeatedly, haven't you?
No, I've not been there all the time.
You haven't been there a lot of the time. You've been there every day this last week, haven't you? Every single day.
No, I taped some of the shows. No, I've been there today.
Your Honor, I'd like to move 129 into evidence.
Is this impeachment evidence? Is this I'm not exactly sure what Mr. Bankston wants to do with it.
I think he wants to impeach Mr. Jones with it.
Does he want to introduce it? Is it just to show to the jury, or does he want it to
No, I
go
think
into evidence?
I'm first moving
moved
to
it
it as
into
evidence.
evidence. He's moving that it be accepted into evidence. Do you have an objection?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is the legal objection?
401, 403.
Can I see it, please?
Yes, you may, Your Honor.
Plaintiff's 129 is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you display 129? Do you have the ability? The person on the left of this image is our judge, correct?
Yes.
The person on the right is another judge you don't like, right?
Yes.
Okay. One of the things you can take that down. One of the things you've been talking about a lot recently on your show, even within the past couple months, is your allegation that government officials are aiding in pedophilia, child trafficking, and the grooming of children, right?
You mean like what Jeffrey Epstein did with the Clintons?
Sure, if that's a yes, is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. And on Thursday, you and InfoWars started connecting those allegations to our judge, didn't you?
No.
In fact, Mr. Jones, you're telling the world not to believe what happens in this courtroom because the judge worked with Child Protective Services, who you say is involved with pedophilia and child trafficking, correct?
Not all of it, but it's the Texas Youth Commission got caught doing it a lot. There's been a lot of that here.
I'm not asking you that, Mr. Jones. I'm asking you, you're telling the world not to believe what's happened in this trial because this judge is involved with CPS, who is working with child traffickers and pedophilia, correct?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time we would like to show a clip from Mr. Jones' show on Thursday where those words are said.
For impeachment
For
purposes?
impeachment purposes, yes, Your Honor.
I'd like to hear the clip.
All right. Do we have a system or just the, okay.
Judge Maya Gamble comes from CPS, who has been exposed for human trafficking and working with pedophiles.
That's what you mean when you say you're taking this seriously.
I take this as serious as cancer. And, I mean, I don't know, you show somebody else's clip that they're always a few seconds long. Why don't you play the whole thing?
Mr. Jones, that's not someone else's clip, is it?
Well, I didn't direct it or produce it, what I'm saying. I mean,
You
it's-
certainly published it.
I'm not standing behind it. I have to see the full thing.
So you don't stand by the things you publish about our judge on your show repeatedly, day after
No, I
day.
said I don't not stand behind it. I need to see not just 5-second clips.
Well, we can talk about what you said before that.
Can you play, how long's the clip? Can you play the whole clip?
Mr. Jones, you're not asking questions today. You understand that, sir?
Oh, I thought I could ask to see a full document. If somebody showed me something, I could see what it was.
This is a question from the lawyer, answer from the witness.
Okay.
Not the other way around.
The only thing I want to ask you about is not all the other weird stuff you said in that video. I just wanted to ask you about the question that I asked you, which you said, no, I'm not saying the judge is connected to pedophile and child trafficking. This is you taking this trial seriously and in good faith? That's what this is?
It's a 5-second clip. I don't know what you've cut off or on.
Does it matter? Is there anything before and after that would make it great to show pictures of our judge on fire and telling the world she's involved in pedophile? Can you tell me the context that would occur before or after that makes that
I'm sorry.
great? Excuse me, sorry, Mr. Blunt.
I believe you, if you're only wanting to go off 5 seconds, I believe the thing is, the judge is the fire burning Lady Liberty. It's not the judge, the judge is consuming freedom.
Wouldn't you agree with me, Mr. Jones, that I sure hope some of your viewers are able to make that distinction that you just put on the air, don't you?
Object to the
All I know is,
information, Your Honor.
is that I take this very serious.
Saying and withdrawn, so stop.
It bursts my jelly beans when I see Alex Jones. I need to see the whole clip. I need to see the whole clip, not just 5-second clips. You're the head speaker, the person of InfoWars. This whole trial, Alex Jones plays this, I don't know. No, I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that. No. Or the opposing party just hammers him with clips and evidence of things that he has said and people who he works under him said on InfoWars, pushing this type of disinformation intentionally to skew the audience. I really didn't know who Alex Jones was outside of a crazy conspiracy theorist and extremely conservative. I really didn't realize the level of influence and followers that Alex Jones actually has. And that's what's concerning to me, is 10 years ago, didn't think that he was a big deal. But Alex Jones brings in between $20 and $30 million a month in revenue, and there are people that eat up his every word who actually think that what he's saying about the Sandy Hook, about every other social issue that's happening in America is true. People cling on to this, and what's so screwed up is that in his deposition, it's revealed that he, on his show, allowed his coworkers to dox the families who lost their kids.
That a Sandy Hook parent named Leonard Posner was behind a group called Honor Network. Correct? That was fighting online abuse of Sandy Hook victims?
I did, I think.
And when you learned that, and when Honor complained to YouTube in 2015, you told your viewers that Honor was run by Mr. Posner, you showed addresses being used by Mr. Posner, and you said he needed to be investigated in Florida. Didn't you say that?
Objection is to form.
No.
Okay, let's play a clip here. I'm going to show you something that you and Mr. Dew were talking about on February 12th, 2015. Can you play addresses for me?
He's been getting all kinds of grief from Mr. Posner. Anything that comes out, social media shut down due to Sandy Hook false copyrights. What's interesting is they list the address for the Honor Network in Boca Raton, Florida. You look up the address on that, which says, you think, you know, if they had this organization, they would have some sort of headquarters where they would be setting up a memorial.
Well, we'll just start investigating that. And I guess I'm going to have to probably go on up to Newtown. I'm going to have to probably go investigate Florida as well.
If a person were to stake out those addresses, they could wait for Mr. Posner to come pick up his mail, couldn't they?
Objection is to form.
True?
I mean, the guy's running an anti-free speech foundation.
Let me make sure I have this really clear. You don't believe the official story is Sandy Hook. You think there was cover-up? You think there was manipulation? You think that there is some sinister thing going on?
I think children died. I believe mass shootings happened. They just had one in Brazil, a tragedy. And I believe it's a crisis. And I go back to the point of all gun owners being collectively blamed, then it's traumatic, and so people go and they find anomalies, and then I've kind of retrospectively gone back and seen how I did believe that stuff. And then I go back and I've now studied more, actually, the real anomalies, and it's just the school system and government trying to cover its rear end from liability. And so there definitely has been there's been a cover-up of the events.
A normal civilian, right, having their entire legal name, their address, posted on InfoWars, which has hundreds of thousands of followers, while pushing that it was a hoax, while simultaneously mocking the victims.
Mr. Hesselman, is holding Alex Jones accountable for what he's done necessary in your mind to move on with your life?
It is. This trial is the only way I can restore my credibility and reputation. It's been destroyed and damaged by this constant attacks and this peddling of conspiracy and hoax. At one point I was called, I was accused of being a liar. I lied about nothing. I'm here in this courtroom telling the truth today.
I understand that your house has been shot at, while people yell Alex Jones' name in InfoWars. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Tell us about that if you would, please.
A few years back, my home was shot up. Vehicles were shot up in my yard. That's disturbing. The fire coming from the vehicle. There's no way to have to live.
You're aware of other threats to the other families of the Sandy Hook school shooting?
I am.
And how does that affect how you deal with what is being said and the lies that Alex Jones is pushing?
I have my own threats and safety to deal with and worry about.
So you have to make it. I'm not making it for you.
I object to
Legal objection.
relevance to other things.
Overruled.
Thank you, Your Honor. You may continue, Mr. Heslin.
I have my own safety to worry about and my own threats. I am aware of the other, many other threats and situations that have happened. Some of them overlap to all the families, not just targeting one in particular. It's disturbing. I feel bad for the other families that they have to endure that too. I mean, I endure it. I have to deal with it. I don't wish it on anybody.
How do you recover from losing a child?
It took a long time to. You never recover from the loss of a child. I accepted what happened right after it happened. I didn't like it. I couldn't change what happened. But I knew I had to accept it to be able to move forward. I was able to move forward. But I never, you can't get over the loss of a child. Many of us have lost our parents. I've lost mine. Many have lost siblings. The loss of a child is no comparison to that. When you lose a child, you're losing part of yourself, and it's just a feeling you can't describe. It's an emptiness. You feel violated by the loss of the child. You feel like you've been violated, robbed. And those feelings don't go away. They haven't changed. 9.5 years.
Mr. Heslin, how do you recover from someone lying about the loss or the murder of your child?
Hold them accountable for their actions. Being able to have the opportunity to stand up, clarify the truth.
During the trial, he's been backpedaling a lot of the things that he has said on InfoWars about Sandy Hook. One could only imagine, why he would backpedal on things that he has said in the past, defaming the families and the lost lives of children. I think it's a pretty severe thing to spread about anyone, and so far this has only been one parent that we've been dealing with. Do you know what else Alex did with the families? He went on his show and spread that the father of their lost child seems slow, and he's probably on the spectrum.
It affects me because that is the father of my son. That is, we're bonded forever through that connection, through Jesse's spirit. And That impacts me. If you have the capacity to put yourself in my shoes, do you have empathy? Because the two people that work for you don't seem to have empathy or care. They really don't. I was looking for some caring. I did not see it. Do you?
Ms. Lewis, does it continue to cause you emotional distress when you hear this man peddle the thought that you are in some way or another an actor or controlled by other people or like thoughts?
Or that Sandy Hook was a total hoax, that it was a false flag, that it never happened, that there were no children killed. And you know that's not true. You know that's not true. But when you say those things, there's a fringe of society that believe you, that are actually dangerous.
The video that you saw over break from Mr. Jones' website, radio show, InfoWars, did that cause you or affect you emotionally further?
Absolutely.
If we could, please. What exhibit will this be, Melissa? PDX 32. Please play PDX. We offer PDX 32 to evidence, Your Honor.
Objection.
The objections are overruled. I, however, think that you need to establish a little bit more about this video, when it was aired, etc.
Sure.
You haven't done that yet.
While you were on break, did part of your team download this video?
Yes.
And are you aware that the video was created during or shortly after Mr. Heslin's testimony?
Yes.
Okay. And did that video come from the InfoWars website?
Yes.
And did you personally see that the video came from the InfoWars website?
Yes.
PBX 32 is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Please play that, Melissa.
I thought it was an act when I saw some of the stuff on TV, just because he came off as so let's just say he's a nice man, and it's not an act. He is being manipulated by some very bad people. But I'll just say, because I got to be honest, he's slow, okay? And his ex-wife is not. I don't think he's stupid. I'm just saying I've got family members that are really smart in a lot of ways, but they're just real kind of quiet and have this way about them, and they move at a different pace. Like they're fast in some ways and slow in others, and I think Heslin acts like somebody on the spectrum. And it makes me feel like an even bigger jerk. But when I saw him, I'm like, there's something about this guy. This doesn't look... And now that I've been around him for over a week, I'm like, okay, now I know. And folks, I don't have some calculated point just bringing that up here. It's just that I'm around these people, and I'm looking at it, and I'm watching what's being said and what's going on, and it really then makes it clear what happened.
Which, by the way, is a horrible thing to even say. Like, there's nothing wrong with being on the spectrum if somebody is, but just because someone's slow at something does not mean that they're on the spectrum. But should we really be surprised, since we're dealing with a group of people, right? People at InfoWars. And I feel like I can accurately make this generalization about most people who consume InfoWars and actually believe it's valid, truthful, factual information. They fall into the same category of vaccines cause autism, and I need to make this abundantly clear. If you're one of those people who thinks that, getting a vaccine causes a child autism, please hit that unsubscribe button and get the fuck off my channel. Thank you.
How does it make you feel knowing that was said today by this man on his radio show while Jesse's father was testifying in that same seat you're sitting
in? I've had a hard time finding words today. It makes me feel astounded in a bad way. It's horrific. So I'm a single mom, and I work full time, And so mornings are hectic with two boys, getting them out the door. Neil was picking up Jesse that morning, and so I bundled him up, brought him outside, walked him outside to meet Neil, and we were going to make gingerbread houses with him, with their class at 2 p.m. that day. So that was, I worked a lot, and so I had taken the afternoon off that day. And so Neil and I were finalizing the, I'll meet you at the school for the gingerbread houses. And I turned around to give Jesse a hug. And I noticed that he had written in the frost on the side of my car, because it's Connecticut, December 14th is very cold. I love you, with his fingernail in the frost. And he'd drawn hearts in all my windows. And I knew that was one of life's special moments. And so I told him, even though I'm running late, he's late, stay right here. I'm going to go get my cell phone. I ran into the house, got my cell phone, came back out. I remember taking him by the shoulders, positioning him so he'd be right by his message, taking a picture. I remember it was overexposed, so I deleted it, and then I took another picture, and then I took a close-up picture of the I love you. And then I gave him a hug and sent him off to school. That was the last picture that was ever taken of him, and that was the last time I ever saw him.
Was Jesse honored for his heroism that day?
He was. He was honored for his heroism at his funeral. He was given a commander-in-chief funeral, and my last memory really is driving him to the grave site from where we held the funeral at a church to the actual grave site, graveyard. I was in a car behind the hearse that contained the casket, and I was in the car with my son and a couple other family members, and we had a I guess it's called a cavalcade, or multiple motorcycles in full uniform were in front of us and behind us. Lots of first responders showed up from multiple different states to honor his bravery. So they would, when we approached an intersection, the back would come up to the front and they would block off the intersection. And cars, just a line of cars, pulled over to the side. People had gotten out of the cars. They were kneeling on the ground, praying, saluting for his bravery. That's a special memory.
How does this man's lies interrupt those memories?
I mean, because then Alex gets on there and says that it didn't happen, that it was a false flag, that there were no kids killed. And you cater to those people that are not grounded in reality. You're not telling the truth. You know the truth as a father.
But hey, I have to give credit where it's properly due. As insane and horrible as Alex Jones is as a person, there's also part of me that finds his antics to be extremely entertaining and hilarious. And I realize that may seem like a contradiction, because at one point I'm saying he's a terrible person.
Here it is. That's not how you open a can of pickles. There's no pop when she opens it. Pop. You pop them open. You pop them open. You pop them, pop them. You don't turn them like it's peanut butter or jelly or something. Can we zoom in on this? You have to pop it, ladies and gentlemen. You have to pop it. Pop. It's popped. It's vacuum sealed. It's vacuum sealed. Pop, pop. You open it by pressuring down and popping. Look at that. I can't even really get it open because my hands are wet. That's God. I can't even open this. This is real. This is really happening. I can't even open this. Worked up a sweat there. I couldn't open it.
But you have to be a special type of person to literally mock the judge on your case publicly on a live, on your podcast and you know, thrust it to the world to see while your trial is ongoing. This is just not something that normal people do. To me, it's like going to a classroom, you have a teacher, right? And you're doing a presentation, and that presentation that you're doing is on how to cheat and get an A in your class, and your presentation is literally how to cheat while you are actually cheating in front of the teacher. That's the level of insanity that we're dealing with this. And Alex Jones just keeps getting caught in lie after lie after lie. For Alex Jones is always like, oh, I care about the truth. The truth, that's what we care about, is the truth. For someone who's so passionate about the truth, you lie so much, and you've been caught in so many lies in this trial. Another highlight of this case, and I've never, ever seen this type of interaction between a judge and a defendant, attorney. Seen a judge address his attorney and calling him out for lying under oath. Part of me just wishes like I could have saw this like in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. But this judge is just laying down the law, and it is some of the most priceless form of entertainment in trial I have ever witnessed.
Mr. Jones, you may not say to this jury that you complied with discovery. That is not true. You may not say it again. You may not tell this jury that you are bankrupt. That is also not true. You may have filed for bankruptcy. I don't know that, but I've heard that. That doesn't make a person or a company bankrupt. You're already under oath to tell the truth. You've already violated that oath twice today in just those two examples. It seems absurd to instruct you again that you must tell the truth while you testify, yet here I am. You must tell the truth while you testify. This is not your show. You need to slow down and not take what you see as opportunities to further the message you're wanting to further. And instead, only answer the specific and exact question you have been asked. No asides. The comments about discovery, the comments about the larynx or whatever it was, the comments about bankruptcy, none of those were responsive to questions. They were just you abusing my tolerance and making asides to the jury improperly, and in at least two cases, untruthfully. Do you understand what I have said? Yes or no? Do you understand what I have said?
Yes, I believe what I said was true. So I don't.
Yes, you believe everything you say is true, but it isn't. Your beliefs do not make something true. That is what we're doing here. Just because you claim to think something is true does not make it true. It does not protect you. It is not allowed. You are under oath. That means things must actually be true when you say them. Don't talk. You understand what I have said.
I do understand.
You understand the instructions I have given you for your testimony in court.
Yes.
I'm not going to bring the jury back today. My staff is listening. They can let the jury go home. We'll start back up tomorrow. When you come back to testify tomorrow, one more time, no asides. Do you understand what I mean when I say no asides?
Yes.
Answer only the question asked of you. Do you understand what I mean when I say only answer the question asked of you?
Yes.
You understand you will still be under oath when you return tomorrow morning
Yes.
to complete your testimony. All right. And you understand that that means you must only testify about things that are true.
To the best of my knowledge.
If you don't know something, you don't say it. If you're asked about your opinion, you can give your opinion. But if you're asked to relate something that's truthful and a fact, it must be truthful and a fact. Not an assumption, not a guess, not an opinion. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, you can sit down.
For a sentence to be so simple, just because you say it, doesn't make it true. At what point are Alex Jones followers, or Alex Jones himself, as entertaining as he can be? I dealt with this all last year in my own personal life. As you guys know what I'm probably referencing. These people are so self-deluded that they think that whatever they say, therefore, is truth. This isn't just religious leaders. This extends far beyond that into the media, such as Alex Jones and what he pushes towards people to believe in. You know, he also got scolded. This next clip that you're about to watch is Alex Jones being scolded specifically for allegedly having gum in his mouth. But apparently it's not gum, it's gauze. And the judge's reaction to his reaction to her, this is real.
Spit your gum out, Mr. Jones.
It's not gum.
Well, what is it? Because you're not allowed food or gum of any kind in the courtroom.
I had my tooth pulled a week and a half ago, and I had some gauze in there earlier, and it's been causing me to have some pain.
So you're chewing on your gauze?
Would you like me to show you?
No, I
Right
just
here?
want you to answer my question.
No, I was massaging the hole in my mouth with my tongue. Right there, right here. Here.
I don't want to see
All right.
the inside of your mouth.
Oh no, there's no gum. Hole.
Sit down. Just today, that you were a guest or a co-host with Mr. Jones on Tuesday. Is that right?
Yes.
And you testified that you did a show and then a second show. Is that right?
Yes.
And what were the topics of those two shows? I mean, were any of the topics of those two shows this trial?
Yes.
Did you and Mr. Jones talk about anything that happened at the trial?
I don't recall exactly what was discussed.
Are they still available for viewing?
I believe so.
So you think you talked about the trial without talking about what happened at the trial?
I'm not sure.
Well, you just told me that the topic included this trial, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm asking you, did you talk about what happened in this courtroom? And you said, I don't remember.
Well, I just don't recall the exact details.
I'm not asking you for any details. Did you talk about things that happened in this courtroom?
Probably, yes.
Didn't Mr. Reynal inform you that you were under the rule?
What rule?
So is that a no? Did he have a conversation with you about being under the rule?
Well, he did. He told me I not to watch any other witness testimony.
Did he not tell you you weren't to speak with any other witness?
I don't believe so.
Did he not tell you you weren't supposed to discuss anything that happened in this courtroom during the trial?
No.
Okay. On Tuesday, when you invoked the rule in this case, I also, in addition to reading what I just read the following portion. Counsel, inform your other witnesses that the rule has been invoked and the effect of the rule. Did you hear me say that on Tuesday?
I did, Your Honor.
Did you follow my instructions?
Clearly not the way Your Honor intended. I can assure Your Honor that they did not discuss anybody's
It will be easy to find out if they discussed the case, won't it?
Certainly, Your Honor, I misunderstood based on my experience and my practice
Because you're just a brand new lawyer, right? Enough with the aw shucks. I don't know the rules of court.
I understand.
Now, I want to make it clear. Anyone who might be a witness needs to be informed tonight about the rule, that it has been invoked and what it means, which is that they will not speak to any other person except one of the lawyers, not a party, lawyer, about anything having to do with this case and this trial. Do you understand, Mr. Reynolds?
Crystal.
Thank you.
I just want to give a round of applause to the judge handling this case. It just requires a level of patience that not many people have. This is a no bullshit judge, and I like her. Anyways, guys, what do you think about Alex Jones? Would you guys like to see a full dedicated X-Files video of going through his history and all of the conspiracy theories and things that he's created and compiled and put into one gigantic long X-Files video? If so, let me know in the comments below and I will consider doing that. But I wanted to talk about this Alex Jones case because, again, I've never seen something like this before, and I'm so happy for the parents for getting some semblance of justice and being rewarded money for the grief and pain that they had to experience. Disinformation campaigns to intentionally harm, hurt, and defame the families who lost their children. How anyone can stand by that and think that's okay is beyond my brain capacity. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. All my links are linked down below. Check out my gaming channel if you're interested in short-form rant content. And I'll see you guys next week for another video.
You got something to say? Say it. You have nothing intellectual. I said, fuck you. Yeah, because you're an intellectual dumbass who watches mainstream media. Anyways. It's cowards want to get in people's faces. Yeah, how's it going, brother? Good, how you doing? Good. Just trying to expose the shit going on here. They're trying to plunge the stock market. They're flooding us with jihadis. We're trying to take our country back. TPP just seized control of our country. Trump killed it. And the CIA is saying they're about to kill him on TV. And these little trendy cowards want to tell people like me, F off, but they don't want to actually talk to my face. Let's go. God bless you, brother. That's all these people got is fuck you. Well, you know what? Fuck you. Look at this. These people are the biggest cucks on the planet.
You're trash.
Hey, come tell me on camera. Come here, coward. Come here, coward. Oh. Right here on camera. Right here. Tell people intellectually who you are.
Intellectually who I am?
Go ahead, yeah.
I'm your mama.
Yeah, can't even talk. Look at you.
Hey,
this is what they've turned the people into. This is it right here. Literal slave of the system. See that? That's who they are. Look at this slave. That was great. Come on. Hit me. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I know. I'm trying because you're brainwashed.
I gotta get to work.
This is the brainwashing.
I gotta get to work where they have more coffee.
This is the brainwashing. You see? And I'm proud of this.